What is up? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Undisputed live from Los Angeles. I'm Holly Saunders here. You know these two, Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp. What's up?
Hey, Skip, how you doing?
Yeah. So I had to sit and watch last night LeBron James take advantage of this poor old man. I couldn't believe it. It was shameful. Just shameful.
You like that fourth quarter?
Really? He's a poor old man. He's on his last legs. He's got two bad knees.
And then what happened?
Yeah.
Put that D on him.
Yeah.
Did you see LeBron
listen.
can't play D?
Yeah.
D'd him up.
6'9" versus 6'4". I think I'll take 6'9" every time.
You know what,
That's just
Skip?
me.
You need
I
to
don't
stop.
know. I don't know.
Hi, Holly.
Good
Yeah.
morning.
I was upset about that, but I'm more upset about what we're about to talk about
Why?
right now.
He wants to get right into it.
You like Vegas.
Yeah. Well, not anymore.
Somebody's not getting the respect they deserve, according to Skip. Let's start with the Cowboys. They've won 5 straight after beating the Eagles in overtime on Sunday. Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper, of course, connected for 3 touchdowns in that game, but they're still not getting a lot of respect. Dallas opened as a 3-point underdog for Sunday's game on the road against the Colts. And on the other side, the Colts are also on fire, though, winning 6 of their last 7. So, Shannon, should Dallas be an underdog?
I believe they should, Skip. For the simple fact, I believe Indy has been equally as hot as the Dallas Cowboys. As Holly read, they won their last 6 out of 7, and the only loss came in a 6-0 ball game loss to Jacksonville. And if you look at Andrew Luck, he's playing at an MVP level. He didn't get off. He got off to a slow start, and we questioned, is his shoulder healthy? Is he healthy? But if you look at him since this winning streak, he's been unbelievable. Mm-hmm. The Colts do a great job of protecting him. The Colts offensive line is second in sacks allowed. He's only been sacked 16 times. And what happened early in his career, Skip, he got beat up. A lot of it, his offensive line didn't protect him. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it, once he broke the pocket, he didn't know when the journey was over. Mm-hmm. He was unwilling to get down or get out of bounds. And he was trying to always fight for those extra yards. Mm-hmm. And it ended up costing him a season and a half, a lot of season 2 injuries. Mm-hmm. You look at the Colts defense, they're good against the rush, 8 against rush, 6 against rush yards allowed. And they're a different team at home. We saw what the Cowboys were able to do at home. They beat a very, very good New Orleans Saints team, stymied them, held them to 13 points. Drew Brees were in the catbird seat for the MVP, and thanks to the old Cowboys defense. I like old Cowboys defense.
Yeah. They liked them that night.
They did a number on him and got my homeboy back in the front. And they did a very good job against Carson Wentz. He did not look very good early on in that ball game, although he had some great throws late. So, Skip, I get it. Vegas is looking at it like, you know what, guys, I understand. But Indy is very good at home. They've been very good of late. And I can see this basically what they're saying, because the home team normally gets 3 points. So they're basically saying this is really a pick 'em game. So, and I'm going to pick, and you already know I'm picking.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm going to start to get some of my cases back this week.
So, Shannon Sharp has still not learned his lesson. Again and again and again, he doubts. And again, he loses case after case of Diet Mountain Dew.
Okay, I'm hard-headed.
Breakfast of champions, the nectar of the gods. Yeah. And once again, you're going to fall even deeper into the swimming pool of Diet Mountain Dew that you have lost to me already, because you lost another case. So we're up to 11, but we have 6 cases pending on the outcome of the NFC East. And I now lead that by 2 games with 3 games to go. So it could be clinched if my Cowboys shock the world and go up to Indy and somehow win yet another game. So, as you know, I always guess the odds before I look at them. I looked at them this morning at 2:15 a.m. and I fell out of my chair, just like I was falling out of my chair Sunday late in the Cowboy game.
So you thought the Cowboys would be favored?
I did usually I think, okay, what's the worst case? I thought it would be pick 'em at the worst case. I thought maybe they'd be favored by a point or 2, because I'm going to remind you, they are not only America's team, they are America's betting team. So they always get penalized by Las Vegas for their popularity, where points will be subtracted from them to try to make people to bet on them, because you're making it more, where you're
enticing people.
You're actually enticing people not to bet on them, because they're going to bet on them anyway.
Right.
And all of a sudden, trust me, this spread will get bet backward, because people are going to jump all over this today at -3, and it'll become -2, -1. I'm not going to be shocked if it finishes at Cowboys at Pick'em, because Las Vegas clearly is still not buying into the Cowboys. And I am shocked by that, because they are already buying completely back into Andrew Luck. And finally, after all these many years, he is starting to live up to his pre-draft hype. And I was never the biggest Andrew Luck fan, as you well know. Going into that draft, I said, I'm taking RG3 barely. I loved what Washington did to go up and get RG3, and he backed me up for 1 year. He was the offensive rookie of the year, and Andrew Luck struggled. And Andrew Luck turned into a beat-up, knocked down, dragged out turnover machine for those first, 4 years of his career.
Right.
And he was just a disaster shell of himself because he took a shellacking. So they've shored up their offensive line. They took the kid from Notre Dame, the guard, and they're much better. And they have been arguably the hottest team in football, unless we can make a case that my team's the hottest team in football. So the two seasons have carefully, closely mirrored each other, right? Because these guys started out 1-5. They finally got to 3-5, which is where my team hit bottom at 3-5 after the Monday night game, the debacle to Tennessee, right?
Yep.
That was your golden shining moment of this football season, and I was down for the count. But since then, would you believe Las Vegas keeps saying no, 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 no to the Dallas Cowboys? And would you believe over the last 5 games, they have beaten the spread all 5 times? So they have covered 5 straight games. And the last 4 times my Cowboys have been underdogs, they have won the game outright.
Yeah.
How many times did that happen? And may I count the ways quickly? They were underdogs to Jacksonville when Jacksonville was still riding high, the number 1 defense.
Stop.
I'm starting because that's where it all started. And that was the one aberration game. There was no Amari Cooper for that game. Dallas 40, Jacksonville 7 as a 3-point underdog. And then they go to the Eagles when everybody had written them off, including the man across the table from me who was just doubling down on every bet. And they were 7.5-point underdogs, and they won the game outright on the field, 27-20. Then they go to Atlanta, and I doubted them. I didn't think they could win Atlanta because Atlanta was still flying pretty high.
No, they hadn't. No, they were not. Look at Atlanta now.
Point. Atlanta was a 3.5 favorite at home, and somehow Dallas won 22-19. And dare I bring back up the Saints game. Saints came in 7.5-point favorites, and that quarterback was playing the greatest quarterback we'd ever seen any quarterback play up to that point, and it wound up 13-10, my defense.
If you don't mind me asking, who went on the road last week and beat the hottest team playing currently, the Texans?
Andrew Luck did.
Okay.
So I give you that. And I look at what Andrew Luck has been doing, and he has been simply the hottest quarterback in pro football over the last 7 games. What's that?
Second.
Well, I mean, but over the last 7, I'm going to have to give him the nod. To who? To Drew Brees?
My homeboy.
Well, Drew Brees was having the greatest QBR season. Well, he was.
Skip, it's more the quarterback in the QBR.
Huh?
It's more the quarterback in the QBR.
I'm just telling you stats. He was having the all-time QBR season until he rode into Dallas. The Saints came marching in.
Well, you can't have an all-time great season if you lose to Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's been benched twice in one season.
All right. Well, but he made up for that. So here we are, and yet we have one aberration game for Andrew Luck, because this is the one I can't explain, and this is the one that should stick in Las Vegas's craw, because just 2 weeks ago at Jacksonville, 6-0, Andrew Luck got shut out, and he had one bad QBR the whole year. He had a 27, scale of 0 to 100 at Jacksonville, and they lost 6-0? Really?
So what should have
and you're making them favorites over the team that is blowing out the NFC East?
You
really?
lost to the Titans by 17.
Okay. Well,
was that an aberration?
No, that was
called
Washington. Hitting bottom.
You lost to Washington.
Yeah. Because of a bogus call at the end of the game. It was a bogus call.
Skip, you lost 5 games, so were all the calls bogus? You got 5 losses.
That was a bogus call. So let me ask you some questions here. Who leads the league in rushing now? What running back?
Elliott.
Ezekiel Elliott. Would you believe that? So my team has the leading rusher in pro football.
Okay.
Who has been the hottest receiver in football over the last 6 games?
Skip, you already know the answer.
No, you have the researcher. You got the Heisman Trophy winner,
so you don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, you do know.
Last
Amari
6 games.
Cooper.
Oh, Amari Cooper. I did not know that. You have enlightened me. 642 yards receiving over the last 6 games?
Yes.
Is he not the hottest receiver in football? And I hate to bring this up, but who barely has the number 2 scoring defense in all of pro football? Just barely, because the Ravens are barely clinging to that lead right now. It's 18.5 to 18.9 points allowed per game. Who is that? It's the Dallas Cowboy defense. And who leads the whole NFL in rushing yards allowed per carry. 3.6 per carry is the Dallas Cowboy defense. So it's come alive. And I have another question for you. What was Drew Brees and company on third down against the Dallas Cowboy defense? Help me out. I'm asking Las Vegas this question. Just what was Drew Brees? He was riding as high as you could ever ride.
Well, Las Vegas is not here to
That was the #1 scoring defense in football, 37 points a game. And that night against my defense, it went 3 for 11 on third down, did the New Orleans Saints. Then Carson Wentz came rolling in, walking to him. Yes, he was. Walk it to him, Wentz. The best quarterback in the NFC East, said somebody across the table from me.
He is still.
He is still, says the guy across from.
Yes.
What did he go on third down against my defense? He went 1 for 9. So Drew Brees went 3 for 11. Carson Wentz went 1 for 9. And
so that's 4 for 20.
that's very interesting to me.